Wherever in the globe you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Welcome to the Impact Academy webinar. Today's topic is an introduction to our newest portfolio of user experience accelerators. My name is Brandy Will. I am Senior Manager of Product Portfolio Management here at ServiceNow, and I lead the teams responsible for building and launching our UX and technical accelerators portfolio within Impact. So this is our safe harbor slide. This presentation may contain forward-looking statements based upon our beliefs and assumptions and on information currently available to us. Only as of the date of this presentation. As you may know, we do value our customers' feedback, and we plan to incorporate and enhance our portfolio of UX accelerators with each release. So some of the things that you see today may change going forward with each release. Let's see. I'm having trouble moving to the next slide. Thank you very much. I would just like to mention that today's session is a part of the Live on ServiceNow, a curated event series to connect you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you deploy your products and achieve faster value. We hope that you can join us again at another webinar or meetup, and you can find the list of all of our upcoming schedule and events by scanning that pretty little QR code on the right-hand side of your screen or using the link that's in the chat. All right, just a few housekeeping items for us before we dive in. We have saved time at the end for your questions. So please use, you might see the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. Please use that button to submit any of your questions to us, and our team will do the best that they can to answer any of your questions as they come up. This presentation will also be recorded, and it will be shared out on the ServiceNow community, along with a copy of our slides. And as we mentioned, of course, we love your feedback. And so we will have a survey at the end of this session. We just encourage you to fill it out and share any information with us that you can. All right. So I thought we would kick off with a quick poll to see how many of you are current Impact customers. You should see the poll, and we'll give it a little bit of time. While this poll is up, I do see some hands raised, and I want to make sure that there aren't any issues or anything that we might need to address before we dive in. Oh, okay. Great. Just didn't want to, but if anybody does have a quick issue, put it in the chat. Happy to, or the Q&A, happy to answer and address any questions. Okay, I will go ahead. I ended the poll. I'm going to share the results. It looks like it's kind of a split. Majority of you are Impact customers, which is great. You will be able to take advantage of what we're about to show you in this presentation as we deep dive into these accelerators. And if you're not, we're going to give you an education on some things that you can take forward into your organization and implement. And if you're not sure, I feel like there's a lot of people that are not sure. So I hope we can try to help you figure out towards the end whether or not you are or not. All right. I believe I close the poll, and now we'll talk a little bit about Impact here. So you may have heard this already, but just as a reminder, ServiceNow Impact is our answer to putting you and your business at the center of ServiceNow. Impact does combine predictive software and human ingenuity to act as your companion to your ServiceNow practice to get you to success as quickly as possible. So if you are an Impact customer, you are already well aware of that. And now I would love to introduce the experts on our call today. We have Sri Bundaram and Sienna Adams, and both of them are our user experience subject matter experts who will give you an overview on user experience and a walkthrough of each of our accelerators and how they can help solve some of your challenges. And with that, I will hand it over to Sri to give you an overview of UX.
Thank you, Brandy. Hello, everybody. I'm one of the 3 founding design strategists on the Impact UX team. Before we jump into talking about our current accelerator offerings, I wanted to take a second to talk about user experience in general. Throughout my several conversations with customers in the past, I've realized that there are many open questions for what UX means. So the first couple of slides I wanted to spend just on that. Now, before I jump into the content of my slides, I wanted to first hear from all of you. When you hear the term user experience, what comes to your mind? I would love to start with a quick poll to get some answers here. You should see a multi-select poll on your screen. We'll leave this open for 30 seconds, but yeah, please let me know what you think of when you hear the terms user experience. Amazing. We'll give it 15 more seconds. See lots of responses streaming in. Amazing. Looks like our poll responses are slowing down. I'm going to end the poll for now. But yeah, as we can all see, this is a pretty even split across the different thematic areas as well. And all of you are right. User experience encompasses all aspects of the end user's interaction with your company, brand, products, services, or anything you interact with your end users on. As you can see here, there are several different areas in which user experience becomes relevant. Some of the more common ones that you know of are usability, accessibility, and aesthetics. But you also have some important things like efficiency, learnability, consistency, and user satisfaction that all form important components of the user's experience with your company or your organization. I also wanted to spend a little bit of time on helping uncover some common myths around user experience and providing a response to that as well. So here, the first one that I commonly hear is around user experience being associated with design or visual design only. And yeah, there is a huge component of visual design to how people perceive of user experience. But in reality, UX is so much more than that. It's about understanding your users, understanding their preferences, their key needs, their pain points, and so much more. The goal is to create not just a good looking interface, but also an intuitive experience that your end users like using. To put this in terms of ServiceNow, imagine creating the most beautiful service portal or employee center portal you could think of. But if your end users are struggling to find things on there, to search, or to even navigate through and complete their main tasks, well, you've not really delivered a good experience for them. It's beautiful, but the experience is not there. The second very common misconception is that UX and usability are the same thing. Now, usability is a huge component of user experience, but it's not the only one. UX has so many different aspects to it, like I showed you on the slide before, but there are other emotional aspects of it as well, like what does the user perceive of um, as their interaction with your brand? How does it impact their satisfaction with the services that you provide? Are they enjoying interacting with you or the products that you put out? All of these are critical aspects that don't commonly fall under the usability umbrella. While usability focuses on how easy something is to use, user experience in general covers a much broader spectrum of the user's interaction with you. The third one is around user testing. A lot of people think that user testing is optional, especially if you run some research in the beginning phases of the project, but this couldn't be further from the truth. User experience testing is crucial because it allows us to understand real user reactions to what you've built for them. It's a great opportunity for you to know how well your solutions, your websites, your portals are going to work for your end users before you actually launch it or before you actually put it in front of those users. It also gives you a really good idea of how well your products are going to perform before you much more broadly launch them. The last myth is that user testing should only happen at the end of the project. Now, some of this is driven by the assumption that you need something super tangible, super clickable, and very final to test with users, but that's not true. You could run user testing in a super iterative manner. You can test with your users with something as simple as a sketch on paper, or you could do something a little more higher fidelity like wireframes or even clickable design prototypes. Anything that lets you put something in front of your user and get their perspectives on how well it works for them can be considered testing. And it's a really good idea to test early and often so you can avoid some costly rework later. Now, good user experience can significantly contribute to better outcomes for your employees and your customers. And the positive effects of having a good experience for employees and customers is also great for the overall business. Now, let's take a closer look at how good UX translates to tangible successes, both internally as well as externally. Thinking about your employees, streamlined processes and intuitive designs really help employees work more efficiently. A user-friendly interface reduces frustration and it leads to higher engagement across different employees. For the first one, productivity may be more related to people like fulfillers or agents that are actually using your products to deliver a service to somebody else. The second one, this reduced frustration of using things, is way better applied in the context of an employee who's requesting a service from your portals. By addressing usability issues early, a lot of rework is minimized, which saves time and, more importantly, money for your organization. And all of this leads to happier employees. On the external side, you see that a seamless and consistent user experience builds trust and confidence in your brand. Satisfied customers are more likely to return, which boosts repeat business and also drives revenue growth. Offering a superior user experience really differentiates you from other competitors in the marketplace. And all of this leads to a positive end customer experience, which then leads to good reviews, great referrals, expanding the reach and influence of your brand. To create a truly effective experience, it's crucial that you start with the right foundation. And that foundation is data, more specifically, user-centered data. And by that, I mean understanding who your users are, what they need, uncovering the pain points within the context of what you're designing, and making informed decisions and not just working off of assumptions that address all of these real pain points that users have mentioned. By focusing on user-centered data, we also ensure that solutions are designed with them in mind and not from again assumptions. Impact empowers you to achieve all of this with our UX Accelerator portfolio that we are going to talk about in a quick second here. So I wanted to spend another quick second in highlighting some key features of user experience accelerators. First off, these are the newest additions to the Impact portfolio of accelerators. They're specifically designed with customers' most frequent implementation challenges in mind. We've heard customers mention that they have ServiceNow expertise in-house or design expertise in-house, but not both. What makes these UX accelerators really powerful is the combination of ServiceNow and UX expertise that's behind them. Bringing both these important niche expertise into understanding customers in the various stages of their implementation journey is what we excel at. Think of us as advisory consultants with a niche set of skills, We augment existing impact teams, and then we really see customer implementation problems from a user experience lens. By doing so, we're able to better provide tools, resources, and expert guidance to help unblock you from all of your very specific UX roadblocks. Every accelerator is grounded in user-centered design principles. This means that our engagements ensure that we are prioritizing the needs, behavior, and experience of your end users. Uh, we've crafted all these engagements to deliver quick, targeted solutions that drive meaningful results. Currently, these are available for Impact Advanced and Impact Total customers. And because this is the first time we've launched these accelerators, we are committed to continuous improvement by actively listening to our customers, coming out of all the engagements that we have with them. And as we grow and evolve, we consider all aspects of the user experience that I laid out earlier: accessibility, usability, aesthetics, and so much more. And we want to ensure that the solutions we provide through our accelerators are comprehensive and effective and targeted to what our customers are asking for. Alrighty. Now, to introduce the Accelerator portfolio, for our initial rollout, we've launched 3 accelerators that are focused on these biggest challenges that I mentioned customers asking us about. First, we have UX design. This accelerator is designed to provide tailored design enablement resources, UI inspiration, and support for your design and implementation teams around Employee Center. It's all about equipping your teams with the right tools and guidance to create a user-centered Employee Center. Second, we have UX review, which focuses on identifying opportunities to enhance the overall design and functionality of your portals, specifically Employee Center in this case. Finally, our most recent accelerator launch is the UX Taxonomy Review and Design, which is all about how we can optimize how users find and access your catalog items and knowledge articles. It has a lot more to do with information architecture and taxonomy of your Employee Center portal. Okay. Now, to contextualize when these accelerators are most relevant for you, I wanted to very quickly share this Now Create implementation framework. Some of you that have access to Impact or have engaged with the implementation process are probably familiar with it. For those of you on the call here that are not, I'll leave a link that explains this approach to implementing ServiceNow in more detail. This is called the Now Create Unified Framework, and it has several different stages that are very, very typical across all of the customers that we've researched. For the 3 accelerators we currently have, we've split them up into pre-implementation and post-implementation. You can see here UX design that is important around uncovering the right tools and support for you is a really good fit for the planning phases where you're trying to figure out how to best create a plan for your Employee Center implementation. Once you've launched your portal, your Employee Center portal, UX review and UX taxonomy review and design are really great accelerators that help you understand how your portal is working. And Sienna is going to talk about this in much more detail in a couple of slides. But we've made these accelerators a little flexible. So in case there are specific needs in other phases, we can customers can request these as well. So you have, for example, in the initiate phase, UX design can be requested as well. Or let's say pre-launch, you want to understand from a ServiceNow UX expert how well your portals are performing. You could always request the UX review and taxonomy as well, review and design as well. There is a lot more guidance around what these accelerators are in our ServiceNow documentation side. But Sienna, like I mentioned, is going to provide an excellent overview of that in a second. So Sienna, turning it over to you now.
Thank you, Sri. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm really excited to share with you some of the details of our UX accelerators today. The first one that we're going to be talking about is that UX design accelerator. So our UX design employee center accelerator is really designed to be tailored UX advisory support. So the purpose of the accelerator is really to provide our customers with a tailored UX advisory and educate and assist you on all things UX in the context of ServiceNow's Employee Center. So, this could mean a variety of things, whether that's providing design inspiration for your mockups, providing UX enablement resources for your UX or development teams, or offering leading practice recommendations and support. Our UX experts here will work with you and understand where you are in your implementation journey and determine the best path for you in order to meet your UX goals. So the type of customer who's really going to be a good fit for this accelerator. So the ideal customer has not yet implemented their employee center. So this one really is, you're in the design and planning stages of your EC implementation. And Sri touched on this earlier, but we really stress the value of design before development, as we've seen and found time and time again that this can save lots of time and money on rework down the road. The other thing that really helps you be successful with this accelerator is customers who first complete or jumpstart your employee center accelerator. This is just another accelerator that's available in our catalog. But what's great about that one is it provides that foundational technical knowledge around employee center. And through that, you gain this deeper technical understanding of EC and its capabilities. And so that, by the time that you come and request the UX design accelerator, you have a better understanding of what the portal is capable of, and how some of the out-of-box features can meet the needs of your users before having to, think about maybe custom solutions and things like that. Additionally, the most successful customers out of this accelerator are the ones who are open to learning about UX principles and how they apply in the context of ServiceNow. So these are customers who really understand the value of prioritizing users when it comes to design. And, you're eager and open to learning more about these design principles, why they're important, and the value of it is understood there as well. We'll talk about this in the next slide, but the customers who have already maybe gone live with their employee center who are hearing this, there is an accelerator for you as well. So don't worry there. And that's the UX Review Accelerator. So we'll get into that a bit in the next slide. So the purpose of, the best time to really request this accelerator, it could be for, again, a variety of different reasons. So maybe it's that, your organization might be lacking an understanding around the value of UX, and you just really want to learn more about these fundamentals of UX, again, in the context of ServiceNow. Maybe you're facing challenges in creating a design or solidifying an implementation for the design. So this could be unique questions answered like, okay, we have this UX researcher, UX designer, they're coming up with the mockups, but how does this really tie into our overall software development lifecycle? How can we be agile, for example, while incorporating UX? So things like that, process-oriented questions as well. Just another example, it could be your organization could be struggling with alignment. So whether it's stakeholder alignment or maybe facing challenges, striking that balance between, your business goals of your organization and the actual needs of your users. Sometimes, we find that there might be a disconnect between the design teams and engineers or the UX researchers and other stakeholders. So we can assist in providing recommendations to help find the solutions to those problems and assist with that stakeholder alignment piece as well. And then lastly, this accelerator is a really great opportunity to just receive access to guidance on ServiceNow's design resources, Figma asset library, and exclusive design to ServiceNow UX expertise as well. So all that said, this is not, if your organization is looking for, full service end-to-end UX design, for the full-blown cycle, start to finish, post-iteration, this is not, this accelerator won't meet those needs. And another thing that's not covered or in scope for this accelerator is wireframe or high fidelity designs. So moving on to our next accelerator, this is going to be our UX Review Employee Center Accelerator. So the purpose of this accelerator is really to conduct a thorough evaluation of your portal and provide recommendations based on our ServiceNow leading practices. So this is more of a usability review, just bringing in our expertise in analyzing your portal. So ideal customers for this accelerator, unlike the first one we talked about, this accelerator should be requested after your employee center implementation. So, the best fit, the customers who will fit this best are customers who've already launched an employee center or have an employee center portal potentially built out maybe in a sub-prod environment that's ready to be reviewed. And really, you really just maybe want an understanding of ServiceNow design fundamentals and things like that. So when customers request this accelerator, it could be that you launched your employee center, it's been maybe live for 6 months, a year, and it's just not, producing the results that you thought it was, or maybe your user adoption just isn't as high as you expected it to be. So you just want someone to come in and maybe help investigate why that might be. This would be a great opportunity, in this accelerator to do that. Another example could be you just want an expert opinion on the portal. It could be we've had customers, come in and we've reviewed the portal and it's great. And there may be little tweaks or recommendations we can make here and there, but sometimes it is nice to have that expert opinion and that validation and a second set of eyes, if you will. This accelerator is really great for organizations where maybe you've heard your users express some sort of dissatisfaction with the portal experience or frustration with the overall experience and the request process. They've expressed their usability issues, maybe the overall design is overwhelming, or just general effectiveness of the portal might be lacking. So this would be a great accelerator to those are all things that we can kind of help investigate as part of this accelerator. And it could be that you just want to help, structure a way to drive your requirements for future enhancements of your portal. So maybe you're lacking those actionable insights for improving the overall current experience. We kind of touched on this earlier, but UX is meant to be iterative. It's incremental improvement. So it's something that you're going to want to continuously improve over time. And we always recommend prioritizing users and their needs and their feedback when thinking about driving enhancements for your portal. Or those are all prime examples of good times to request this accelerator. And lastly, it could just be that the design is failing your users. Maybe you did do a custom design, or you pulled in resources and built out the solution. But for some reason, maybe along the way, users weren't brought into the process, and maybe there was no usability studies beforehand, or just no validation with users before you went live with that design. And then you're finding that it's actually not addressing a lot of your critical user needs. So similar to the first accelerator, this is not really going to be a good fit for customers who need that comprehensive end-to-end UX support. So that's not something we can really provide as part of this impact. So, if you want someone fully onboarded from the beginning of the project all the way through, again, this won't meet those needs. However, we do have partner resources as well as our expert services here at ServiceNow who provide end-to-end services as well. And then again, this is not something, where we could follow up on those actions. That we leave it off at kind of the recommendations. It's an advisory only model. So we won't be able to actually, fix, the recommendations that we offer to you in the system. There's no hands-on keyboard there. Again, and then I touched on this earlier, but not a good fit for, customers where your portal is not, it's still in the early stages of development. Okay, so moving on to our third, accelerator here. This is our UX taxonomy review and design. So this is an area that can be a pain point for many of our customers. The purpose of this is really to provide guidance for optimizing your portal navigation for users. So, the customers who are going to want to accept this are customers who want to optimize your overall content structure and navigation. So you'll hear a lot of these terms used interchangeably, but they're really kind of all talking about the same thing. So maybe you'll hear your content structure, your overall navigation, your taxonomy, your mega menu, and you might hear the term information architecture. Really, it's just the overall content and navigation structure of your portal that your users, click through to navigate and find content that they're looking for. So the goal of this is really to help improve usability for your users if you find that your information architecture is lacking there. And really customers who might just need support building or refining an existing information architecture using our leading practices. So maybe you have an information architecture that's already built out and you kind of just want a validation of that. So we can teach methods and talk through things like tree testing studies and, teach you how you can continue to validate and improve on your information architecture. So a good time to request this accelerator is if you have heard users of your portal voice concerns around overall content discoverability, meaning, oh, I come into the portal and I'm looking for this and I just can't find it, causing frustration, or just overall issues with navigating the portal, that's going to be kind of a red flag where you might think, oh, this would be a great time to request the UX Taxonomy Accelerator. Maybe your portal has just become difficult to navigate over time. So customers maybe who moved from our service portal to Employee Center and didn't really, do a full content revamp. Maybe the content's just become overgrown and it's just turned into this beast with, lots of topics and content over time, or outdated structures or services that have been retired and just, there was just no upkeep there. And then lastly, if you just want to learn more about Employee Center's taxonomy features and things like our advanced portal navigation and just options for really improving that taxonomy, that's perfectly fine too. You're welcome to request this accelerator and we'll work with you there to meet your needs. And you're seeing probably a pattern here. Again, when it's not a good fit is if you need a comprehensive end-to-end taxonomy study. So something that we can't do as part of this is, for example, a full-blown card sort study, which is essentially when you design your information architecture entirely from scratch. If you need a whole content strategy session, this is when I would definitely recommend that you bring in a full-time UX specialist. And also you can continue, of course, request these accelerators and we can provide our expertise along the way. And then if the needs of your organization extend just beyond that taxonomy and require broader UX support, that's when you may want to consider partners or some of our expert service resources as well. So those were kind of a quick overview of our 3 accelerators that we're offering today. And now we'll just quickly talk about kind of what these look like. So for all of our accelerators, we follow the same similar process. So for the first meeting, we're really just it's going to be that initial discovery call. So this is when we'll kick off the process. We'll meet with the stakeholders and gather that essential information up front. This is really where we're going to want to set expectations and align on goals. So we want to hear your business goals and the goals for your users, and we'll work with you and collect all of that information. And we also want to set expectations. Our goal out of these, they're short and sweet, but they're very impactful. So our real goal at the end of this is to make sure that we feel like you've really gotten something out of this and that you walk away feeling like you've got value out of requesting this accelerator. So really setting those expectations up front so there's no surprises and everyone's on the same page. And then the next step is really going to be that assessment. So this is when our UX consultants will go back. We get access to your environment. And we do our own kind of review or, just assessment of the situation. We'll evaluate the current state, trying to understand the biggest pain points and look out for usability issues. This is really where we're going to uncover any key challenges, as well as identifying areas of improvement. This is where we're going to be looking out for, your information architecture has, 500 topics, for example, and that's just not, that violates best practices. So things like that. And then from there, we'll move into our UX activities. So not all UX methods or UX activities work or are necessary for every customer situation. So this is really, the discretion of the UX consultant to look at the situation and say, I think we should do this activity. So that's kind of that tailored approach that we were talking about where, we pivot based on the needs of the customer that we're working with. So this is going to be the recommendation by the UX consultant based on that evaluation that they did. And then from there, we go into our next phase. And I'm having trouble moving the slide, which is our recommendations workshop. So during this workshop, it's really just a collaborative call where we review all of our findings and insights. We discuss recommendations at that point. So we just want to make sure you leave off there with some quick wins, as well as long-term goals that we suggest that you work towards as well, all in the name of improving the overall user experience of your portal. And then lastly, what we're going to do is hand those off to you we're going to package everything up, all of our findings and our deliverables in a bow, and we'll hand those over to you so that you can obviously continue to reference those as you move forward on your implementation journey. We'll provide you with next steps. So, we're not just going to leave you hanging there. We'll say, this is what we recommend you do after this, as well as recommend other accelerators that we offer in our catalog as well, depending on, again, your situation. So those are kind of the core process steps as part of the all of our UX accelerators that we're currently offering. And so, yeah, really exciting stuff. And now I'm going to hand it actually back over to Brandy, who's going to talk a little bit about how to request these accelerators if you're interested.
Great. Thank you, Sienna. Oh, I see I am also having a challenge. Thank you very much. So if you are an Impact customer today, as it looked like a good handful of you are, this is the Impact Accelerator catalog, which you are probably familiar with. You will just log into your ServiceNow Impact instance. You will go to this top navigation bar where it says Initiatives and Accelerators. Underneath there, you will see Accelerator catalog as an option. And then depending on your different package level, you will see these different catalogs with the accelerators listed underneath. So I've shown the architecture catalog here with our 3 user experience accelerators, and you would just go in there and click them to request. There's also a link in this slide with a guide on how to request these accelerators. And then we also have some resources for you. So if you are not an Impact customer, or if you are an Impact customer, these resources are going to be extremely helpful for you. We have a whole bunch of different links here that go to a bunch of our different areas within ServiceNow where we have content. So please, I encourage you to check that out once these slides and everything is available. And then we also have, so if you are not an Impact customer but are curious on what it is, there's a link here to learn more about Impact. That link will also take you to the Impact community where this presentation and the slides will be posted as soon as they're available. We also have training and certification information there if you want. There's a link for that. And then our expert services that we talked about. There is a link to find out more